Start recording. Mic check, mic check. All right, looks like we're good. What's up, guys? Do you all remember when I said it was gonna be the last build update for this assassin of mine? I lied. That is not the last one. I completely and utterly bricked the other build I was doing, so I scratched it. I still have all the gear for it, but yeah, that idea went straight out the window and I brought this back and I've been working on it. If you've seen any of my other videos that are probably posted with all my other videos, I ran through a Awakener 8 Tier 16 Minotaur map. That was one shot in packs, and it was cool. Great for farming. Excellent clear speed. Horrible everything else. It was a glass cannon. It had no defenses. I couldn't fight bosses with it. It was strictly to farm maps. And I built it that way and it worked. It did everything I wanted it to do, which is great. But I actually wanted to see if I could make something out of it. Actually make it, somewhat viable, I guess, other than just farming. I had help from a guildmate to get the passive tree looking like this. He introduced the Lionized Fall for these cluster jewels, which totally evaded my mind. I don't know why I didn't remember Lionized Fall, but I did. And I beefed it up a little bit. It's still glass cannon, but I mean, at least it's got a little bit of defenses to it. So where do I start? Let's start with the gear first. This is like, it's a poison lightning arrow, but it's using Voltaxic Rift. If you've seen any of the other videos, then you're already caught up, but I'm just going to go over it again. Now, what the Voltaxic Rift does is it makes your chaos damage shock, which shocked enemies take increased damage, which is a good thing. It's increased damage. Your shocks can increase damage by up to a maximum of 100%, which just means they take a little bit more damage than they were taking previously. But the big node, or not the big node, the big mod on the bow is 60% of your lightning damage is converted to chaos damage. Lightning damage in itself cannot poison without gloves or something that will allow your lightning damage to poison. So our poisons are coming strictly from the bow, from the lightning to chaos conversion. That's how we are poisoning. The cool thing about it is I'm stacking a lot of flat lightning, but I'll get to that later. Anyway, it's the Voltaxic Rift. I have Elemental Prolif for Impulsas because of explosions. So every time I hit an enemy, it shocks them. That shock will move to enemies around it. So when one of them explodes and it kills another one, since the other one is also shocked, it causes chain explosions, which is great for clear. And that's what Lightning Arrow is. It's the clear skill. I have that to added lightning. Someone, I forget who it was. I was streaming the yesterday, and someone had came into chat, and they were talking to me about, where's it at? Did I get rid of them? No, right here. About innervate support, and how if I were to use innervate support, it would add extra damage to Galvanic Arrow, or where's it at? Right here. Yeah, Galvanic Arrow, which is true. It's 100% true, but the reason we're not using it is because you only gain innervation on killing a shocked enemy with the supported skill, which means that you have to have had killed something in order for it to work. At the base, it will give you 3 to 56 at level 6. It will give you base lightning damage, but it will only give you innervation after you've killed something, and that was a conversation that we had gone through. So we are using added lightning damage because we don't need to kill anything to activate added lightning damage. This is damage that we have all the time regardless. And doing the math, I think I had like a level 18. Um, Innervate does give a little bit more damage, but I mean a very, very little bit. And that is with Innervate active. Without it, you're losing damage. So with added lightning, this is damage that we have all the time, regardless on if we did kill something or we didn't. Chance to poison. We are the assassin. We do have chance to poison, but the added chaos. I'm stacking flat damage, as much flat damage as I can, since the bow doesn't really give that much damage in the first place. It gives 1 to 309 elemental damage, which seems like a lot, but it really isn't. So the added lightning damage is flat added lightning damage. The chance to poison, having that chance to poison is cool, but it's mainly for the added chaos. 94 to 40 to 141 added chaos damage. Cool. Which one is this? Greater multiple projectiles, just more clear. A Mirage Archer, again, clear. And Lightning Arrow. That's this setup. Do I have chance to poison in this? I do not. I need to put in chance to poison. So, in the Impulsas, it's another 6 link. The only reason we're using Impulsas is for the Explode mod, but it also gives increased damage if you've shocked an enemy recently. Recently means 4 seconds. So if you have shocked an enemy within the last 4 seconds, you get 57 increased damage, which is a lot of extra damage from a chess piece. The evasion rating on it is horrible. The energy shield on it is horrible, but there are ways to get around it. The life roll is bad. This chest is a strictly damaged chest, is what it is. You get an increased effect of shock. You get increased damage if you've shocked recently. Shocked enemies you kill explode, and those explosions help out with clear. But the increased damage if you shock helps a lot against bosses also. But in this chest piece, I have Cruelty, which is 23% more damage with hits. And Cruelty has a base duration of 4 seconds, which is cool. Added Lightning for more flat. This is the only more multiplier that we have for our single target, because I'm about to take out Divergent Vile Toxins for chance to poison, which is going to help my my poison stacks get up there faster. But I messed around with increased elemental damage. I messed around with damage on full life. Cruelty is the best in slot, because not only do we get more damage on hit, which hit damage does scale with poison, but it also gives you Cruelty, which gives increased damage over time, and that is also good with our poison. But it's Cruelty, added lightning damage, galvanic arrow, added chaos, of course, adding flat. I'm taking that out, and then barrage support. Barrage support is what allows us to attack so fast. The build isn't really scaling poison damage. It's not. The poison damage is there for when we are running around. We're scaling hit damage. Chance to... Oh, whoops. Poison. I'm going to fix this right now so I don't forget. And I will actually show you why. Here we go. Level 19. Now, with Divergent Vile Toxins in, because of the way I have my tree set up, if I run over here to Galvanic Arrow, my chance to poison is only... Where's my chance to poison? Chance to poison, 100%. Oh, well, I have 100% with it in. This might be better. I'm going to play around with this a little bit. I'm stacking flat damage is what I'm doing. As much flat damage as I possibly can. So I'm going to take out Divergent Vile Toxins for now. Stacking flat damage. which this gives 81 to 121 added chaos damage. And then we have the more multiplier from cruelty. Cool. And then barrage support. You deal 62% less damage, which is a lot of damage to not deal, but since it is our single target, we do a lot of hit damage with it, and we also stack our poisons with it, and it seems to be working out, so I'm not changing it. But that's the sixth link. With the impulsas, the role that you would really want to try to look for, um, you would want a decent life roll, but mine is on the lower end since life could roll up to 80, and I got a 64. I went with damage, so this one has 47 increased damage if you shocked enemies recently. Yeah, so you would probably look for that shock, and I wasn't really too worried about the shock effect since lightning arrow shocks enemies, though dealing 290% more damage. The Voltaxic Rift is your shocks can increase damage up to a maximum of 100%, and then the Impulsas just causes explosions and increased damage with shocks. Yeah, and Galvanic Arrow gives added flat, which is pretty cool. The helmet is intelligence. I put intelligence on the helmet. That way I could wear all my gear since I have a lot of intelligence-based gems. I don't think it's even that high of intelligence, is it? It's a tier 4 intelligence, but it's enough for me to upgrade my gear to 20, or upgrade my gems to 20, and continue to use them. So I got intelligence on the helmet, and then everything else is evasion, life, and resistances. And here I have cast when damage taken, a mortal call. That's a lifesaver. Corrupting fever it doesn't really do that much damage at all. I use it against bosses. But it's a little bit of extra added damage, so I mean, can't really hurt that much. And then I have precision. Precision's at max level. On the amulet, its attributes, strength and intelligence are going to be the two attributes you're going to want the most, and added flat damage. And then I got crit, but we're an assassin, so we don't really worry about crit too much. But it's got crit chance, lightning resistances, and then I crafted life on it. But it's mainly for the attributes and for the added lightning damage to attacks. You can get regular added lightning damage to where it says adds, 6 to 85 lightning damage, or you can get one that says adds lightning damage to attacks. Whichever roll is the highest that you can afford is the one you're going to want. So I'd go for that. The quiver is added lightning damage, attack speed, life, resistances, and then I have armor and evasion on this, which I can switch out for added chaos, which is probably what I'm going to do. Is I'm going to get flat chaos damage on this, which I think I can do right now. Can I do that right now? Do I have scouring orbs? See, actually sitting here and going through this is a huge help. I do have scouring orbs. Lightning and cold, yeah, chaos damage to attacks. 15 to 27, but bam. 13 to 24 is not bad. I'm not going to complain about it. There we go. Flat added damage adds 13 to 24 chaos damage to attacks. You could also do it vice versa, and you can get added chaos damage to attacks and craft lightning damage, whichever one is cheaper. But the life and the resistances is probably the most important thing on the quiver that you're going to want, because you want to keep those resistances capped. And if you can get attack speed, I would, because attack speed's good. I went over that. The rings are for self-chill. I'm using a golden rule. I'll get to the rings later. The embalmer Carnell mitts, these are more luxury than they are a necessity. The only reason I got these gloves was one, curse enemies with despair on hit, which helps out with damage completely, and it has a 44 increase effect. But it gives flat chaos damage, and it gives chaos resistances, increased poison duration, and the life roll's not too bad. But added flat chaos damage. And Socketed Gems are supported by level 20 Vile Toxins. I mean, that's cool and all, but I'm not really running anything in here to actually use Socketed Gems or supported by level 20 Vile Toxins. It's mostly for the chaos resistance and the life. And then if you can get added chaos damage, that'd be pretty cool. But increased poison duration isn't bad either. In the gloves, I have Blood Rage, Val Grace, and Malevolence. So for the gloves, you look for life, chaos resistance, or any other resistance that you still need capped. And what else? Life, resistance. And then if you can get flat chaos damage, that would be good, because that's what I'm stacking. I'm stacking flat chaos damage. The belt is life resistances, but it has a whole lot of strength on it. And as you can see, I'm using strength gems like Cruelty, Defiance Banner, Corrupting Fever, Immortal Call, cast when damage taken. Also, strength gives you a little bit of extra life. So for this belt, it says 81 maximum life, and I think it's every 2 strength. Let me see. Yeah, every 2 strength equals 1 life. So what is that? 40, 70. It's like an extra 30. 5, 37, something like that. Extra 30 to life. So this is like 110 life, which isn't bad. But yeah, mainly what you want over here is if you need the strength on the belt, get the strength on the belt. If you don't need the strength on the belt, then just life and resistances, because the belt is the main place where you cap your life and resistances at. The boots. Life and resistances again, and then move speed. You want move speed. I have the craft 11% chance to gain Onslaught for 4 seconds. Onslaught gives move speed along with attack speed. You can get move speed boots up to 20. Not 20, 30. I think 30% is the max roll for rare boots. And then they have a unique boot that will give you 50% increased move speed. I may be wrong about that. I think 30 is the max roll you can get. These only barely have like 19, which 20 is still fairly low. But I'm running around pretty quickly anyways. And the onslaught for the attack speed is pretty dope. I might take these off though, because I don't get onslaught in bosses either. So we'll see. But it's great for mapping. The flasks. I gotta do something about my flasks.
Just need a moment to catch my breath.
You want a flask that gives armor. Whatever magic mod you have on them, it really doesn't matter. Just do whatever fits your needs, I guess. But the increased armor, you don't want the more. You don't want 15 increased more. Or not 15, 20% or 20% more armor. You want the flat armor. 20% more of nothing is still going to be nothing. So the flat number is better. If you have a way to scale it, you can get 15 to armor and then 20% more. But in this one, I'm using a chaos resistance flask, which is not qualitied. Why is none of my stuff qualitied for? There we go. The reason I'm using chaos resistance, even though I am fully capped for fire resistance. I'm fully capped for cold resistance. I'm fully capped for lightning resistance. And I only have 12 chaos resistance. But when I pop my chaos flask, wait, is that the right one? Wrong one. It gives me 47, which still isn't capped, but we do get 47 chaos resistance while this is up, and then I'll go into the micro mechanics of the build later. But chaos resistance is also damage, and I'll explain that a little bit later. Flat evasion rating, which is just a flat number. It gives 1500. It's not a percent. It is a flat number. And we're scaling that 1500 up with 20% more evasion, which we also got evasion on our helmet, we got evasion on our armor, we got evasion on our gloves, we have evasion on boots. I even had evasion on the quiver, but I just fixed that. There we go. And let's quality you up just to quality you up, because why not? Quality, putting quality on your gems, not gems, putting quality on your flasks is very important. They will help you out tremendously. If you don't have enough glass blowers bulbs, there's a trick. You can go to anyone in town throughout the acts,
Just need a moment to catch my breath.
and you want to go to a vendor. Let's go random here. Okay, cool. We're going to Highgate. You want to go to a vendor that sells armor. I think she sells armor, does she? Purchase? No, you don't sell armor.
Good luck.
Rasha, do you sell armor? Yes. Okay, if you scroll at the very back of it, you can buy these. They cost 8 blacksmith's waystones, which, if you run around and just pick stuff randomly, how many do I have? I have like 600 of them. There's no reason for me to have 600 of them, but I have 600 of them. So if you want to go to any NPC that sells armor or sells weapons, click to the very last page, and at the bottom you can buy glass blowers bulbs for blacksmith waystones, and then you can also buy waystones with armor scrap, or you can buy armor scrap with waystones. Yeah, but that's how you get glass glass blowers, bauble, whatever it's called, without having to run around maps and always try to look for them. You could purchase them with armor scrap, which should be useful. I actually didn't learn that until this league. I feel stupid. I used to run around maps wondering, how do we go and how do we get the glass blowers to upgrade our flasks? Yeah, go to any NPC in any town that sells armor or a weapon or something like that, and at the very last page you can pick them up for blacksmith waystones. But yeah, those are the flasks. Now let's get into the passive tree. Passive tree is a clusterfuck. I don't know what to call it, but it's a clusterfuck. So, um, where do I start? I respect it also. This is not the way that I league started it. If you've seen where the build started with Cobra Lash, if you've been with me since then, this is what it looks like now. Um, what did I do? So I came down and I grabbed the physical and chaos damage and life node, and then just grabbed the dexterity nodes up to coordination, and I went up to grab more life in blood siphon, and then that last life node right there, because it's 5% increased maximum life. spec down into the strength node and I grabbed wasting. And wasting is why we have the chaos flask. It's 1% to chaos damage over time multiplier. So it's chaos damage over time multiplier per 4 chaos resistance we have. Let me get to the jewels real quick. We are running a golden rule. Where's the golden rule at? I know I have one. I just don't know where I have it. Right here. We are running a golden rule. And the golden rule gives you 1% to chaos resistance per poison on you. Poisons you inflict is reflected to you if you have fewer than 100 poisons on you. Fewer than 100 poisons, which means that you can poison yourself up to 100 times. Now, with the flask up, we have 45, but with the golden rule, we have 145 chaos resistance. Now, 145 divided by 4 is 4, 8, 12, about 30 some odd percent chaos damage over time multiplier. And 30 multiplier is, it's a lot of damage, especially for having resistances and turning your resistance into damage. It's just dope, so why not? So that's the chaos mastery we go for. We go for 1% to chaos damage over time multiplier per 4 chaos resistance. And this is strictly for bossing. Since we're not really trying to deal damage over time in maps, we just want to one-shot things and keep moving. This node is strictly for fighting bosses with, since we do have 100% chance to poison. It's just extra poison damage. I'll go over the Ascendancy in a little bit. I grabbed the jewel socket that is to the left of the Chaos Mastery. And I have a blue dream in here since we're using lightning arrow and we're stacking a whole bunch of flat lightning damage. We also get 5% of lightning damage as extra chaos damage. If I'm able to, since I am still working on this, if there's a way that I can grab another jewel socket somewhere, I don't know how I'm gonna do it, but if I can grab another jewel socket somewhere, there's another jewel that is called the Blue Nightmare. And the Blue Nightmare also gives 5% of lightning damage as extra chaos damage, which I think is pretty dope. So we would have 10% of lightning damage as extra chaos, which is extra damage. After I grabbed the socket on the left, I came down, I grabbed the intelligence node, and I grabbed all the reservation nodes right here. It is these reservation nodes that are allowing me to run Malevolence, Wrath, Precision, and the Banner all at the same time. That's 4 of them all at the same time. So you want the aura area of effect, which really doesn't matter to us. We want the reservation efficiency. That's what we're looking for. 8% increased mana reservation efficiency of skills. And then charisma also gives 16% increased mana reservation efficiency of skills. For the mastery, we're getting 15% increased mana efficiency of skills. The reservation. Mana reservation efficiency of skills. It makes your auras cost less mana. It makes the reservation of your auras cost less so you can run more auras. That is a huge help in the build. Then I grabbed the evasion and life nodes down to Revenge of the Hunted to the right. I grabbed Hunter's Gambit, which is the chance to poison and chaos damage or damage over time for bows. these nodes. Then I have a cluster jewel, which is not cheap by any means. This cluster jewel is very expensive, and my definition of very expensive is like 10x. But this one cost, I think, like 3 exalts, maybe 5. So it's a 3 to 5 exalt jewel, and it has Feed the Fury, Fuel the Fight, Martial Prowess. Martial Prowess gives 20% increased attack damage, 6% increased attack speed, 15% increased global accuracy, 20% increased damage with elements from attack skills. Attack speed, attack damage, accuracy, those are things that we're looking for. Feed the Fury gives life leech, but it gives 30% increased damage while leeching. 15% increased attack speed while leeching. We have a lot of attack speed in this build. Attack speed's good. Fuel the Fight, 8% increased attack speed. 4% of attack damage leeched as mana. 20% increased damage while leeching. So with these two together, we have 50% increased damage while leeching. It doesn't say that you need to be leeching life. It doesn't say that you need to be leeching mana. It's just leech in general. Since we are always using mana for our skill, we are always leeching mana. Therefore, we always have the benefit from Fuel the Fight and Feed the Fury. Also, after these cluster jewels, in the cluster jewel I have a replica hot-headed that's for the self-chill. I haven't gotten to that yet. I also have a Watcher's Eye, which is how I'm able to poison myself and not die. I am unaffected by poison while I am affected by malevolence. So as long as I have the malevolence aura, I am unaffected by poison. I have killed myself many times by not having malevolence on. Maybe I hit a wrong key, maybe it turned off, I died, forgot to turn it back on. I have killed myself a lot by not having malevolence on. If you are unable to afford a Watcher's Eye that has unaffected by poison while affected by malevolence, there is a cheaper alternative. Comes in the form of a helmet, so you might sacrifice your helmet slot. Maw of Conquest. It is called Maw of Conquest. I think they're about 1 chaos. Critical strike transfer spell. We do not use spells, we use attacks. Increased energy shield. We're not energy shield based, we are life based, but the extra energy shield wouldn't hurt. The life roll on it is pretty bad, but it does have unaffected by poison, and 14% of damage taken is recouped as life. But it has unaffected by poison if you can't afford the jewel. That's what I was running when I first started it, until I was able to save up enough money. The thing about this particular Watcher's Eye is I also have 58% increased lightning damage while affected by Wrath. Since our lightning damage is converted into chaos damage, Wrath also gives flat lightning damage. We don't care about the more dispels, we don't use spells. We're using Wrath strictly for the flat added lightning damage. The increases to our lightning damage or reductions to lightning damage happen before the conversion. So this added lightning damage while affected by Wrath, or the increased lightning damage while affected by Wrath, also affects our chaos damage, since we have the increased damage before the conversion, which is why I'm using Wrath. Yeah, replica hot-headed, self-chill, not into that yet. I did grab the Clever Thief nodes, which is more leech. It's mana leech along with life leech, since we already have 50% increased damage while leeching. The Leech Mastery is also 30% increased damage while leeching, which is 80% increased damage just by using our skills. As long as we are using our skills, we are always leeching mana. As long as we are leeching mana or life, it doesn't matter. As long as you're leeching in general, it doesn't matter what you're leeching, you have 80% increased damage, which is kind of a lot. Then I have the life nodes up here to Blood Drinker. The life mastery is 50 to maximum life. I have the crit accuracy nodes up to depth perception. The accuracy mastery is precision has 100% increased mana reservation efficiency. Now, without the mana reservation efficiency, you won't be able to run all of the auras like I am. Having precision costs less to reserve allows us to be able to mess up with our shots. We are allowed to miss a couple times. My hand and eye coordination is not the greatest. There are some times I will shoot out to something and completely miss. But with the mana reservation, we're able to shoot off maybe 3-4 times before we just completely run out of mana. So this is to make up for mistakes that I do personally as a player, because I'm not the perfect player by any means. This is just to make up for what mistakes might be made in game. Along with that, I grab Mind Drinker, which is a mana node, but the mana mastery is 10% reduced mana cost of skills. The reduced cost of skills is to make up again for the mistakes. I am not a perfect player. Sometimes I will try to click on something and find myself shooting in the opposite direction. And without mana, you will die fairly quickly if you're unable to attack your target. So the reduced mana cost is my way of making up for the mistakes that I make as a player. Since I am not a perfect player, that's just what I felt I needed to do to make up for my playstyle, for the way that I run around in maps. So having the reduced mana cost of skills for me is huge, because it makes up for, I guess, my lack of skill. Anyway, after depth perception, I came up, I grabbed the Lionized Fall. I mean the jewel socket, which I socketed with Lionized Fall Viridian Jewel. The Lionized Fall will transform all melee and melee weapon type modifiers to bow modifiers, which is why I was able to spec into Claws of Magpie along with the backstabbing. With Lionize Viridian Jewel, the Lionized Fall Viridian Jewel in, it says dagger damage, but it says bow attacks deal 12% increased damage. Dagger and critical strike multiplier, no. 18% increased critical strike chance with bows. 14% critical strike multiplier with bows. So we're stacking a lot of crit from specking down into backstabbing, and then a lot of attack speed specking up into Claws of Magpie. The one with evil is the Chaos nodes right next to Mind Drinker. It's Chaos Resistance, 1 to maximum Chaos Resistance, which means that we are no longer just capped at the like 75 or whatever. Ours go up to 100. It goes up to 140 because of the golden rule. So the 1 to maximum chaos resistance doesn't really matter, but it does give us 23% to chaos resistance. The more chaos resistance we have, the more damage over time we have. I think it's cool, turning defenses into damage. With the resistant and element protection mastery, I got 12 to all elemental resistances and more chaos resistances because resistances is damage. Don't want to skip out on any damage. So that's it for the top part. Coming down to the bottom, we are getting Pierce on the tree. So we have piercing shots. I was tired of trying to use chain. I don't like chain. Chain takes away way too much damage. 30% less damage. As a poison as a poison build, we already do damage over time. We have explosions. Our explosions are able to chain. There's no reason for us to run chain. But if we run pierce, we still get one shot and the pack explodes anyway. There's no need to take up a gem slot on our gear when we could get damage on our gear. We can get clear with piercing shots, which we have 3. Our projectiles pierce 3 times. And it helps with clear a lot because that means in packs, our arrows will go like in the middle of the pack and it will explode the whole pack. With 3 pierce, our shots like go into the middle of a pack, which causes the whole pack to explode, which I think is pretty cool. So we're getting pierced on the tree. Don't put chain. Chain takes away too much damage. Don't use fork because fork takes away damage. We're not trying to take away damage. We want to gain damage. So yeah, get piercing shot on the tree. You'll have a better time. Trust me. We also have our spell suppression, which is invitorate, I guess is how you say that. So we grab some spell suppression, we grab invitorate. For the spell suppression mastery, we have 10% chance to suppress spell damage if the boots, helmet, and gloves have evasion. That is kind of what allows us to get a little bit more spell suppression. Then I have evasion node survivalist, which helps cap our resistances a little bit, but it gives us evasion, which is important. The evasion mastery is you cannot be stunned if you haven't been hit recently. So recently is 4 seconds. And if you haven't been hit, since we're a bow character, we kind of tend to stay back. We can shoot from afar. And say that there's just one shot that comes at you out of nowhere and it hits you. If that shot was supposed to stun you and lock you in place, you will not be stunned. Every hit after that one for the next 4 seconds will be able to stun you. But the first hit will not, which is great. And it works out for me personally. When I talked about Revenge of the Hunted, which is the life and evasion nodes, I forgot to go over the mastery. The evasion mastery for Revenge of the Hunted is 100% increased evasion rating from your armor. So we only have like 500 evasion rating off the armor. This increases the 500 evasion rating by 100%. Now, it's not double damage because it's not a multiplier. If it said 100% more evasion rating, it would turn that 500 into 1,000. This will turn it to like 800, maybe 7. But it's still more evasion rating than we had before. We could probably get 40% increased evasion rating if you've been hit recently, but from my playstyle and the way that I play, cannot be stunned just works out better for me in my playstyle. That's why I use it. Then after that, I spec down into Heartseeker, which is more crit chance along with crit multiplier. The bow nodes to the right of it is King of the Hill, Master Fletcher. Master Fletcher, all the nodes going up to it is attack speed, increased damage, damage over time. All the nodes going to King of the Hill is crit, crit multiplier, crit chance. So we're getting crit chance, crit multiplier from the bow, along with the daggers from Lionized Fall. We're getting attack speed from the bow, along with the claw nodes, Claws of Magpie. I didn't go over these masteries. I apologize. The Dagger Mastery, 8% more damage with hits and elements against enemies affected by at least 5 poisons. When we're running through the maps, we're more than likely one-shotting packs anyways. This is strictly for the bosses. If we're able to stack 5 poisons onto the boss, which we stack over 100 poisons at any given time because of our attack speed, our chance to poison, all that good stuff, we deal 8% more damage. So it's a more multiplier off the tree, which is great. The Claw Mastery is enemies poisoned by you cannot deal critical strikes, which means any map mod that has monsters have 380 gabillion crit strike chance and 48, gigatons of crit multiplier, none of that matters anymore. Why? Because as soon as you poison them, they could no longer deal a critical strike. You cannot be crit after that. All that crit chance, all that crit multiplier means nothing because of this Claw Mastery. They can no longer deal crits, which is great. So this is more defensive, this is more offensive. Dagger Mastery is offensive, Claw Mastery is defensive. Which we have a lot of defenses like that, especially with the Evasion Mastery and cannot be stunned. More defenses is 100% increased evasion rating from your armor. Having the spell suppression is defenses. So we have evasion, we have spell suppression, we have the fact that they can no longer deal critical strikes, we have elemental resistances, we have our life, which our life is still fairly low. We're only 3.5k, which I want to fix. I want to try to come over here to Heart of the Oak, but I don't think I'm going to level past this. I'm level 90. But yeah, it's working for now. I mean, I die a lot in fights and in maps and stuff. But that's mostly due to either me messing up something with my computer or what is it? It's me messing up something with the computer or not knowing the fights, because I still don't know a lot of the fights. And I expect to die over and over and over again until I'm able to learn the fight. That's how you learn, is you die a lot. So I die a lot. But I did spec down, I grabbed Herbalism right after the bow nodes, and I have the jewel socket over here that has the golden rule. That is pretty much the tree. Like I said before, I had help developing this tree. Somebody else, I was having a hard time with it. AFK mode is now on. This player, yeah, I'm not worried about that. What was I saying? Oh yeah, I was having a hard time with it. So a guild buddy decided to help me out, and the one that he showed me had completely different gear. It was just like a different play style. He took out the Impulsas, no more Voltaxic Rift. He added some things in there, and I was just like, I enjoy your help, but I'm not trying to, completely just switch up everything I've been working on. Which I do. I appreciate him very much for that. Thank you if you're going to watch this. I do appreciate you. But some of the things that he showed me, like this mana reservation, I didn't even know about this until I tried it out and I realized, mana reservation efficiency is really, really good, because now I could run 4 auras at the same time and still have enough mana to attack, along with the reduced mana cost from Mana Mastery. So I did have help with this. It wasn't just me completely. I must have had a brain fart or something. But this is what's working. What haven't I gone through? Self chill. That's right. Self chill comes from the golden rule, allowing us to be poisoned, unaffected by poison, so we don't take any damage from poison. Ice Fang Orbit. You were chilled when you were poisoned, which is how we are chilling ourselves. Since we have the poison reflect, we are also chilling ourselves from the poison. Winter Weave. The effect of chill on you is reversed. So, what that means is that instead of being slowed down by, who knows, 15% up to 30%, whatever the effective chill is that is on you, you gain 15% movement speed. You gain 15% attack speed. So basically, it's more attack speed, is what the self chill does. It allows us to zip around maps. When you come across a map that has, what is it, chilling ground or freezing ground, I purposely try to walk on those just because of how fast I become walking or running on those little ice patches. It's like I'm Frozone and I'm just slipping through the entire map. It's great. It's so much fun. It is so much fun. Something in me has been trying to tell me to take self chill away. You don't need self chill. You're doing too much to get it. You're sacrificing a lot. Yeah, that might be true. You might be 100% correct. The problem is, it's too much fun to get rid of. Self chill's fun. It is. Because of how fast you attack, how quickly you run around. It's fun. So that's how we're self chilling. Is that it? Is that everything? As you can see right now, I have Malevolence on, I have Wrath, I have Precision, I have Defiance Banner. All at the same time, I still have 99 mana. So I can still shoot with it also. Ascendancy, I didn't do the Ascendancy. Let me show you. We're an Assassin. So with the Assassin nodes, the first one I got was Noxious Strikes, which is our 40% chance to poison on hit. So with the 40% chance to poison and the chance to poison gem, that brings us up to 80%. So we just need to find 20% chance to poison from somewhere else. Then Toxic Delivery, which poisons you inflict with critical strikes deal 25% more damage. It's not poisons you inflict deal more damage, no. Every one of those poisons have to be inflicted by a critical strike in order to get that more multiplier. But then you also get critical strike chance per poison affecting the enemy up to 2%, which isn't really that much. And now that I've been thinking about the toxic delivery and, you know, in order for you to even get that more multiplier from it, you have to deal critical strikes, which we do not have 100% critical strike chance. This node is a works sometimes node. I've been thinking a lot about just grabbing opportunistic, since we get 25% more damage while there is at most one rare or unique enemy nearby, which is 25% more damage all the time, regardless of crits or not, regardless on if you've killed something or not. As long as there is only one boss, like a boss like Cyrus, he's the only boss you fight, you will have 25% more damage that entire fight. The Maven fight, I believe you only fight one boss at a time anyways. You will have 25% more damage the entire time you're in that boss fight. So I may spec out of Toxic Delivery, and go opportunistic, because opportunistic in the long run will allow me to deal more damage to the significant bosses. So I don't know. I'm still gonna play with that, but this is the setup I have for right now. Um, Wait, did I go over the other ones? I did not. Toxic delivery, ambush and assassinate. 15% more damage with hits and elements against enemies that are on low life. Low life is 50% of their life. Well, 49%, I think. So as long as you see the bar at half health, then 15% more damage, which is a multiplier, will get into effect. It also gives us a bunch of crit strike multiplier against enemies that are on full life. That's only good for one hit. 100% life is full life. So you have one hit to have 40% critical strike multiplier, one hit for critical strike chance. But then you also get critical strike chance against enemies that are on low life. So you have one hit, you got to get their damage to half or 1% after. I'm just going to say half health. And then you get crit strike chance and more damage from this. Critical strikes have calling strikes. We do not care about that. In order for us to even want to care about calling strike, we would have to have calling strike damage. Since we are doing nothing to scale our calling strike damage, we don't we don't even like notice that we have calling strike. This is for the more multiplier, is what this note is for. Don't even worry about calling strike. We don't deal enough damage for it to matter at this point. And that's it. I'll probably do a video of the maps that I'm running directly after this to show you how it performs in the maps. I'm still building a map pool, so I've been running a lot of tier 11 maps to get tier 12 and tier 13 maps. Once I run low on tier 11s, I'm going to run tier 12s for tier 13, tier 14 maps. Because I have one tier 16 map, no 15s, no 14s. So I have to run these lower maps to get these other maps to be able to run them. I do have all of my watchstones to get to Awakener 8, which is great. I just don't have the maps to play at Awakener 8. If the Awakener level, like right now, I have 12. In the highlight maps, these are all the tier 12 maps. If you want to run a tier 16 with this setup, you see how no tier 16 maps show up? You will not drop any maps. You will only drop maps from the tier and awakening level of what you're running. So for right now, the highest I can run with this setup is tier 13s. Then if I add another watchstone, hold on. Now I can no longer get maps from tier 13s, but I can now run tier 14s. Cool. Tier 14s will drop maps. I could run tier 15s. Tier 15s will drop maps. I could run tier 16s. Tier 16s will drop maps. That's only with all 4 watchstones in. As long as I only have 3, tier 13 is the highest map I could run. And tier 10? Tier 10 is the lowest map I could run. So I'm running tier 10 to tier 13 maps, trying to build a map pool, is what I'm doing right now. Yeah, anyway, so I'll just do a little build showcase. It's going to be Awakener 6, because I need maps. But yeah, if you liked the video, if you enjoyed it, hit the like button. If you found it informative, if you've learned anything at all from this video, let me know in the comments, because if making longer videos like this helps you out, then I'll do more of it. I feel like the video is getting a little bit long, but if you need details and why we're doing this, then I'll continue to do it. But yeah, gear, you want flat damage everywhere. Adds whatever number to whatever number lightning damage. Adds chaos damage. Those are the two damage types we could use. So added lightning damage wherever you can. Added chaos wherever you can. Cap your resistances. Having 75 resistances of fire, cold, and lightning will help you out more than getting damage. Do not ever sacrifice your resistances for damage. But yeah, if you enjoyed the video, give it a like. If you thought it was informative, let me know in the comments, or hit the subscribe button if you want to see more content like this. And if you want to know exactly when I drop a new video, hit the bell icon. That will give you a notification as soon as the upload is finished, or something like that. I think that's how it works. Anyway, thank you guys for watching. That's the build. I'm still working on it. It's still in progress. If I find something else that's different about it, or something that can make it more tanky, or something that gives it a lot more damage, I'm going to play with it first, which is what I've been doing with this build. I'm going to run around with it. I'm going to play with it, see what I can do with it. And if it works out, I'll make another video. If it doesn't, you're not going to see a video. So yeah, that's how it's going to work. Anyway, thank you all for watching, and I will see you all in the next video. Bye.